Welcome to my podcast. Glad to have you here today. This is Rev May, Randy, whichever you prefer. Hope you're having a wonderful day. God's good to me all the time. I'm happier than twins. I couldn't be no happier than that. Hey, look at this. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner. At the end of the video, there'll be a round picture of me. If you click on that, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. This will help me get the video pushed out to other people. We're done there. Let's get into what we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about women are touch and feel. Women are touch and feel. Women are not have this. They don't have the same needs as a man, and they have nothing in common in a lot of areas with a man, because women are touch and feel, and women are not like men. Men are visual. All right, men are visual. Women are not. They're touch and feel. We'll get into that. All right, Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7 says, "The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." Now, God created man first. He breathed into him and created him, and the man was there. But let's talk about the animal kingdom before we get into women. In the animal kingdom, all the cardinal birds, and the reason I say cardinals, all right, take a look here. If you didn't know it, I'm a Cardinal fan. I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And that's the way it's always been. That's the way it'll always be. Win or lose, I love it. And so, anyways, getting back to the animal kingdom, all the cardinals sing the same. All the bluebirds, blue jays, they sing and interact alike, all right? They have the same patterns. We don't all have the same patterns. We're all different. Not every man's going to act just alike. Not every woman's going to act just alike. Not every man's going to look alike. Not every woman's going to look alike. Now, women are more forgiving on looks than men are. Men, because they're visual. But a woman can look at a man and say, well, he's not the most handsome in the world, but he's got such a kind heart. He treats me so good. They look at the beauty within the man. And men have a harder time doing that because men are visual, all right? No man wants to go out with a woman that's not pretty. But beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, as they say. So you go out and date with people that you like and that meet your criteria. I had a friend of mine I grew up with. He loved redheaded girls. He only dated redheaded girls. That's all he loved. I love brunettes. I dated a few blondes, but mostly brunettes. My wife's a brunette, and I always liked brunettes. Everybody has their own way of looking at things. We have the power to choose to change ourselves for the better or not for the better. That's your choice. Women are touch and feel, but men are visual. The word formed in verse 7 is a Hebrew word that is called yetzar. Now, I may not have said that right. It's yastar or yetzar. It means to fashion or to build. All right? He took some time to make a woman, God did. He just squeezed us men out into shape and breathed life into us. But the men should agree that women are a lot better looking than men. They are. Women are beautiful. God made them so much different that they're so attractive and they look beautiful to the men. All right? And that's the way God intended. God took time on a woman. And boy, I'm glad he did, because they look wonderful. And the moment I laid eyes on my wife, I did not know her name. I had never met her. I had been dating for 7.5 years or 8 years. I probably dated, I'm not bragging, I'm just trying to give you an example. I dated somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 different gals over a 10-year period. So that's not a lot. It's 2.5 women a year or thereabout, maybe 3. But when I saw her, I fell in love with her. I never believed in love at first sight. I never believed. I thought it was just Hollywood. But when I saw her, I was snapped. I mean, as soon as church was over, she was in a singing group. I sent my 4 friends down the dining hall to set up tables and chairs. They asked for volunteers. I said, I'll be right there. A couple of them mentioned to me they wanted to go talk to her. I said, well, we need to get down there and take care of that first. She'll be down there, and we can talk to her. I shot up there, introduced myself, did a little chit-chat with her. Then I asked her, would it be all right if I called you sometime? She said, yeah, I think that'd be all right. I said, can I get your number? She gave me her number. I told her who I was. She told me who she was. I shook her hand. I told her I really appreciated it. Then when I got down to the dining hall, the guys, a couple of them mentioned they wanted to talk to her. I said, you can talk to her. I already got her name and number. We're going out. I mean, I didn't waste any time because I fell in love with her. I looked at her and I thought she was beautiful. And so men are visual. You know, they take a lot of stock in looks. Women, not so much. Don't get me wrong, they're not wanting to marry ugly guys. They don't want to marry guys that don't brush their teeth or they don't take a shower every day. I'm not talking about that. But I just meant women are more forgiving on looks than men are. This is why women are always working on us to make us a little better than we are, because we're kind of diamonds in the rough. A man should open a door for a woman. I realize my father was born in the 1800s. My dad was born in 1895. My grandpa in 1862. So I was raised with a traditional thing. But you open the door for a woman. When you pull up in the driveway, especially the first few times you go out. Now, if you're dating steady and I don't know if they call it anymore. When I was dating, when I was young, if you're dating someone steady, they maybe wear your ring or something like that. They're not going to date nobody else but you, all right? If you've been dating a long time and you're in a hurry and you're trying to get somewhere, you might toot the horn and she knows you're there and she runs out, hops in, you take off. You've been dating quite a while. But the first few times you date a woman, you should go up to the door and walk her out to the car and open the door for her. You can still get out of your car and open the door for her when she's coming out, you know, if you've been dating a long time. But a man should try to open the door for a woman. He should try to protect the woman. You should always try to do that. You try to buy them flowers. Now, let me tell you something, men. I'm not an expert, okay? But I'm telling you what I learned through my years of dating and being married to the same woman for almost 44 years, all right? I bought her flowers when it wasn't her birthday. I bought her flowers when it wasn't Valentine's Day. I bought her flowers when there was no special occasion. I just go by there and rap on her door, and when she opened it, I handed her flowers and said, hey, it's good to see you, beautiful, and I gave her flowers, all right? I mailed her, even though I drove by her house. I saw her every day. I drove by her house every day on the way to work. I'd go by her house in the morning. I'd leave 2 or 3 minutes earlier so I could stick a card underneath her wiper blade. So when she come out to get in the car, there was a card there, and it was a card like missing you, or you're so beautiful, you're like this, or whatever. Some were funny cards or whatever, but I put a card underneath her wiper blade. Sometimes I'd leave a flower, a rose underneath her wiper blade, you know, and I'd write her notes. Why? Because I loved her and I wanted her to love me. All right, everybody gets their special one, their special woman. They get her stuff on Valentine's Day. That's all expected. But what about in March when there's nothing special? And you take her a flower. Or you take her over some candy, all right? You kind of wine and dine her, you know? Because you love her, you need to do things. If you do stuff like that when it's not a special occasion, it means a lot to her. And giving her cards, flowers, candy, doing things special. When we got engaged, I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. All right, she had a 69 Buick Century, and she loved that thing. Skylark, excuse me. She had a 2-door Skylark, real pretty gold with a black vinyl top and black interior. It was a nice-looking car, but it was old, had a lot of miles. She drove out in the county 17 miles to go to work. I drove about 4.5, 5 miles to work in the city. I never went out in the county. So I told her, here, take my car. I gave her the keys. I said, I'll drive yours till we get married. You take mine. Mine was a 78 Oldsmobile Omega, which looks a lot like a Chevy Nova. It had an SX package on it. It was a great looking car, two-door sports car, bucket seats, console in the floor, and it was really nice. When I came over that car and got out, my mom goes, what's going on? I said, what? She goes, you're getting married. I said, what do you mean? She said, you must be getting married. You never let nobody drive your car. I've never driven your car. Your sister's never driven your car. You don't let anybody drive your car. You swapped cars with her? Why? Because I loved her. I wanted her to have a car with low miles that was still under warranty, so she went out to work and had a problem and all that. We wasn't even married. Why? Because I loved her. If you love someone, you'll do things that you would not normally do with other people, like loan them your car. Something I'm not big on. I was in the car business 25 years. All right. I was a manager. I trained people. I ran departments. I ran a store. And so I owned my own car lot for 4 years. So I'm telling you, I love my vehicles. All right. No matter what age they are. I got an 84 Dodge Rampage. I love it. I don't let nobody drive that thing. I drive it. All right. I've let my wife drive it, but nobody else. Why? Because that's just the way I am. I've been real picky with my vehicles all my life. A man should open the door. He should get her flowers when there's no special occasion. Buy her candy when there's no special occasion. Take time to write her a note. A lot of times I just wrote a note and put it underneath her wiper blade. It wasn't a card. Sometimes I mailed her a card to her house. Since we're married, all right, I still now and then mail her a card in the mail. It comes back to our house. And I put her mail over there with whatever she gets with her name on it. She goes through it. There's a card from me. They came in the mail. Why? Because I want my wife to know I love her, I care about her, and I'm thinking about her. So men are visual. Women are touch and feel. All right? So you watch a movie now and then with your woman, and you have to watch something that's on the Hallmark Channel. All right? Put your arm around her and hold her. Now and then reach over and hold her hand and keep your arm around her. Kiss her on the cheek now and then. And when the girl on the Hallmark movie, her guy breaks up with her or he decides to go another way, you know they're going to get together before the end of the movie anyways. But you do this. Boy, she eats that up, You gotta work the system in your favor, men. You gotta be visual, and women are touch and feel. They want you to hold. Honey, hold me. You ever had your wife wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and dig her nails into your back? Honey, if I died, would you remarry? This is something we need to talk about at 3 a.m., No, honey, I'd never marry anybody. You're the only one. You mean to tell me if I died, you would? I'm like, do we really need to do this at 3 o'clock in the morning? But women are different than men. That's the way God made them. And we ought to be happy for that. That's why we fit together good. He made the woman to be a helpmate to the man. When he made the man, he's like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he needs something else. And aren't you glad that God did? And so we need to look like God took more time to make a woman than he did a man. And so women are beautiful. God has a plan for man. And if you want to keep your wife happy or your girlfriend happy, then open the door, buy her flowers, buy her cards, buy her candy. Do it when it's not Valentine's Day. Do it when it's not her birthday, all right? Be spontaneous. That's a hard thing for me. I'm not spontaneous enough, all right? I've had the same doctor 34 years. I've had the same bank 34 years. I've lived in the same house for 34 years. I ordered a custom set of drums, 7-layer maple, back in the 70s, and it took me 4.5 months to get them in. I waited for them, and they even made me a special plate and put my name on it, and on the drums, custom built for me, and their concert toms are great. It's a great drum set. It's just fabulous. Today, they're well sought after, 7-layer maple, Ludwig drums with the 70s, those guys were the best makers of those drums. I played the same drums for 48 years. All right. And they look like they're new. I got hard cases for them and all that. I am not a person that likes to do things spontaneously. I'm like to be comfortable and do what I want to do. And so you have to be a little more spontaneous with a woman and let her know that you love her and that you care about her and treat her right, all right? And protect her and watch after her, all right? Before we moved to a house, I had a garage. I'd get up extra early in the morning when it snowed, so I'd go out there and scrape the windshields, get the snow off her car, fire it up, and get it warmed up for her. She worked in an office. I worked in a factory. I wore blue jeans, work boots, work shirt. You know, when I got to work, I had to wear goggles, a hard hat, and an apron, and, you know, steel-toed boots and everything. My wife worked in an office insurance company as an underwriter. She dressed really to the nines. I didn't want her coming out there and doing all that to the car. She'd come out, I'd give her a kiss. She'd thank me, hop in the car, and get going. I would never let her do that. Why? Because she's my wife. I love her. You need to take care of your woman, guys, and you need to be good to her and treat her like you should, all right? And what does it say when we do our wedding vows? For better, for worse, in sickness, and in health. We need to realize that. There will be some better, there will be some worse. There will be times that things aren't so good, there'll be times they will. But overall, the whole thing fits together perfect. You work together. I love you, God loves you. Just giving you a little advice about the ladies. If you want to take it, take it. If you got something you do different, put it in the comments section. Let us know what you do if you do something different. Or if you do any of these things, put down you do. Make a comment. Be a man. Step up. Don't be ashamed to get up and say, hey, I love my wife and here's what I do. All right. God loves you and I love you. All right. Thank you for your time. This time till next time. Old Rev May signing off. You have a wonderful day. Don't forget, click that like button and click subscribe and help me out. God bless you.